What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. So I want to find out today how awake your core is. What type of mind muscle control do you have with the elements of your core? We know by now the core is not just your abs. There's a lot of muscles in and around your torso that control your core. Not having the ability to intentionally control them will set you up for disaster if you're trying to get them to react spontaneously, which is going to happen when you go to lift weights in the gym or if you're going to go out and try to compete. You're going to need to have spontaneous participation of these muscles, and if you can't establish a good intentional relationship with them, then they're going to leave you hanging when you need them the most. So there's a drill here called the Ring of Fire that was actually created a long time ago by Vince Gironda. Old throwback name, kind of dated myself right there. But the concept plays out, and it's actually a really good, easy thing that we can do. And here's what you do. You hang a band here over a pull-up bar. We've got one of our ATHLEAN Elastics bands. You wrap it around each wrist, you lock your hands together. Now you're kind of locked in here, okay? What you're trying to do is just get some steady tension on the abs. But the majority of the work is not going to come from the band, but from you actually contracting as hard as you possibly can to create this mind-muscle connection. So the first one we do is the easy one, is the top-down movement. We have better control here when we're used to doing this. Gravity actually helps us here. We're going to try to hit the upper abdominals by crunching down as hard as we possibly can, bringing our rib cage down over our pelvis. And you really want to try to contract as hard as you can to the point where if it's working right, you might cramp up or you might feel even a little bit of pain in the upper abs. That's good. You hold it for 5 to 10 seconds, and without resting, you now try to shift to the lower abs. And to do this, now we're trying to do, again, one muscle group, but we're preferentially hitting different areas by the angle of pull. So when we try to contract here, we're going to try to posteriorly rotate our pelvis as hard as we possibly can without letting up on that constant tension of the band. And again, we try to really bear down here and hold this as long as we possibly can. Then we move on to the obliques. We can do our internal obliques. And to do our internal obliques, if we're working the right side as we are right now, we're going to try to rotate our shoulders in that same direction. So if we're working the right side, we're rotating towards the right, and we're squeezing and contracting as hard as we possibly can. Now don't worry, you may not feel that level of discomfort that I was telling you about, or you might not feel that cramping. You might not feel much of anything at this point, and that's because you really truly need to work on that. If you're feeling it, that's actually a good sign. That's where you want to get to, where you can feel it in every single move. We then move on to the external obliques. Again, no resting. It's the Ring of Fire for a reason. You're trying to build up this burn, this constant burn in your entire core. You're rotating now to the opposite side. You can bear down and contract as hard as you possibly can here. And now, of course, we can't forget about the all-important muscles as we wrap around to the side and the back. And we've talked about and did a whole video on the Quadratus Lumborum and how important this is. This is the hip hiking muscle. So what we do now is we try to drop back and rotate back and towards our back hip or our kidney area. And we're really trying to contract as hard as we possibly can unilaterally to that right side. And before we're all done, we wrap around to the back to hit the spinal extenders here. We work on bending back into extension to hit those paraspinal muscles right alongside of our spine. And again, you're only halfway through the Ring of Fire because you have to work your way back around to the front. And then, of course, you got to work your way on the left side back and then back to the front again. So how do we program this? It's actually a drill that you can put anywhere in your workouts. You can actually do this prior to a lower body workout. You're actually awakening these muscles, getting them to know that you want something from them so that when you spontaneously try to get it from them, they're there to help you out. And of course, we know how important that is to participate in stabilizing your core during lower body movements. But you can do them prior to a workout, after a workout, 3 to 4 times a week, however much help you need. If you've already got good neuromuscular control there, you don't need to do it as often. If you have a poor control, meaning you can't feel many of these things when you're trying to contract them, then you need to start incorporating this more often. Guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, it's a very simple, easy to implement thing to do. And of course, if you want to start getting more of these types of advanced training techniques, putting the science back in strength, knowing when to do them, head over to ATHLEAN-X.com and follow our ATHLEAN-X training system. I lay it out for you day by day, step by step, and we even throw in the meals as well, meal by meal. That's over at ATHLEAN-X.com. In the meantime, if you found this video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below and let me know what you want to see here on this channel, and I'll make sure I do my best to bring those to you. All right, guys, I'll be back here again soon. See ya.